Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. Just a quick video, just some of the things that I do when I'm building the model that I thought I'd pass on to you guys if you didn't already know or want to try something new. When I come to or go to prime my models, I've kind of steered away from the rattle can primers. And what I use now is basically I base coat any model that I'm going to build, especially the bodies. And what I usually use now is use my airbrush, and I'll use either Testors flat gray or their flat white enamel as a base primer for my top coats. I typically don't sand any of my bodies unless I have to and get mold lines out and things like that, but for the most part I don't sand the whole bodies on my models. But I find that I don't lose as much detail using my airbrush with either flat white or flat gray from Testors. It seems to hold the detail. I can get a finer base coat on it so I don't lose a lot of that detail. One of the other things I've discovered is my new go-to also primer, and I'll show you in a second why I use this as a primer now on some of my colors on my models, but this is my new go-to instead of using Testors flat black for chassis and different interior details and engine bay details and chassis and so on. This is Testors, what they call their flat gunmetal, and it's a black, and it's number 1198. So the Nova that I'm working on, I'm using this flat gunmetal on chassis, inner fenders, door panels, seats, rad support, and a few other details that I'm going to do to this. So if you guys want to try a new flat black substitute, it doesn't seem to mar as quickly as the Testors flat black. It seems to be a little bit more durable than the flat black. So this Testors gunmetal is my new go-to for flat black substitute and primer. And I'll show you a few test spoons that I've used this as a primer and a few test colors I've shot over top of it in a minute. Hang on. This one here is base coated with the gunmetal again, and this is Testors number 1530, their green metallic flake. You get some nice color. I'm not a big green fan, so it's got to be the right tone of green before I'll paint a car green. I don't know why I'm so fussy about that. It's just the way I am, I guess. But this was an interesting color that turned out using the gunmetal as a base and the green metal flake as a top coat. And it's got one coat of Testors clear lacquer on it. It probably could use a couple more, but again, that base coat seems to suck up any shine that the paint has, but another couple of clear coats on there will bring that up quite nice. But it's a nice color. It turned out good. Next one. This one is again the gunmetal base coat, and it's Testors teal over top of the gunmetal. It's kind of an interesting color too. What do we got next? This one is base coat again, gunmetal, and this one's painted with the gold metallic flake from Testors. It's number 1542. It's a real neat kind of a color. And I've shot these these same colors over a series of other test spoons with They're steel color and the aluminum as a base coat. This one is the base gunmetal again, and this one is number 1192. It's their gloss bright lime from Testors, number 1192. It's a neat color. It's another green that I like. We got so many models to build, and I got so many colors I want to try. I'm going to be busy for the next 5 or 6 years. Next one is gunmetal base again. This one is shot with Testors 1529 CA. It's their red metallic flake. And you get this in the right light, it almost looks black until you get the light shining on it in the right angle. You can see the red flake in it. It's one thing I like about Testors paints. Their metal flake seems to be pretty close to scale flake compared to some other paints out there. That's why I'm pretty much a die-hard Testors guy. Next one. This one's red again. This is, oh, it's still same color. Well, poop. This is 1198. Oh, this one's Testors 1198. Oh yeah, it's flat gunmetal and same color again. Wow. Okay, we shot two of the same. Son of a gun. Last one. Believe it or not, this is the gunmetal again. And it's shot with Model Masters blue flip-flop as a top coat. It's a really neat color. Got to find another model to paint this one with. So you can get some neat effects and color changes from changing your base coat with a lot of these metallic paints from Testors, and a lot of them are kind of opaque and semi-transparent. The 66 Nova that we were going to do, I was going to paint it what the hell was that color? It was going to be this one. And we were going to paint it the Testors steel. And of course in my other video I mentioned that it took me 6 coats of clear to get any kind of shine out of it, because the base coat of the flat steel just soaks the clear coat up like a sponge. But the more I thought of it, the more I kind of shied away from this color. My concern is dust, and if I gotta paint a base coat and then apply 6 different coats of clear coat on top, that's just a more chance I'm going to get dust in it. Or debris. And it's one thing painting a spoon, and it's a different when you go to paint, of course, 5 sides of a model, and you get the more chance of dust and the more chance that you're going to get runs. But anyway, it was a nice thought. I got a couple other grays coming from, I think it's Model Master we're going to try. Should be here in a week or so. We'll shoot some test spoons again. But anyway, we gave up on that color for the Nova. What we're going to do actually is Testors teal. It's number 1193, and it's actually shot over the Alclad Candy base, which is kind of a shiny silver. So the silver from the base coat comes through this paint quite nice actually. So that's going to be our color for the 66 Nova. What else? Nova's in a state of disarray. We initially, believe it or not, started to paint the interior and door panels, and inner rad support, firewall, inner fenders, oh gosh, seats, door panels, were all painted with different combinations of the silver. And the more I started looking at it, the more gun shy I got about doing 6 coats of clear on everything, and just the chance of getting dirt in stuff, and especially when it comes to the body. So we decided to can that. We're going to go with a teal. We've got distributors semi made up. I've got it assembled and glued together. Got spark plug boots attached on there, and it's ready to get glued into the intake when we get to that stage. Distributors from Detail Master. We've got a few of those, so we'll start using some of those. What else? Headers are painted up. I've got to do a run through a dry fit and see where how that's going to sit in chassis, and I may have to, as I mentioned before, try and lower that engine and see how that works out. Steering wheel's painted up. I've got a bit of detail to do on that. Seats are done. I've got my seat belts in place. Brake master cylinder we're going to add to the car is from the parts box, and it's a brake booster and dual master cylinder combination. It gives it nice detail and get rid of that silly single line brake booster, manual brake booster the kit comes with. It's a nice scale. I really like that that brake booster from the parts box. We've got a few of those in our stash. Fan belt and pulleys are kind of ready to go. I still have to do some Molotow on those. A little bit more Molotow on the steering wheel. Battery's painted up. Got to do some detailing on that, of course. Door panels are painted, and I put a coat of Tester's Dull Coat on them just to kill the shine on the door panels. And I still have to do the Molotow on the window crank and door handles. I wish these door panels were detailed a lot more, but anyway. Dashboard's painted and clear coated. I've still got to do my detailing of dash face and gauges and pedals on it. Center console's painted up, clear coated. Still have to do the Molotow on the edge of the outline of the center console. Rad support's painted. We've got a electric fan we're going to run on this car. I think I robbed that out of a older Corvette kit that I used to have, and it actually fits this rad perfectly. Need to find somebody to copy that. I haven't tried that, any resin stuff, but that's a whole nother world. I'm not sure whether I want to get into that or not, but anyway. Inner fenders are painted up. Motor's just sitting there. I still got to determine the height I want that at and where it's going to position forward and backwards. Interior tub is painted, and I've used embossing powder on it as well. Still have to paint up the floor mat and the gas pedal on it, but it's ready to go. It's just sitting there for video sake. Excuse me. What else do we got? Still haven't decided whether I'm going to put a roll bar in the car or not. We'll see how that goes along. Oh, one thing we've decided we're going to add is I've got a Cal Induction hood from Competition Resins, and that we're actually going to put on the hood of this baby. Got the inside of it painted up. It's ready to go. We just have to glue this baby on here and figure out the position. It actually fits pretty good. I know I said I wasn't going to put a scoop on, but the more I looked at this hood scoop, the more I started to like just the lines on the car, on how that seemed to accent just the body lines in the car. I think it'll look good. Probably just going to glue it in place. I'm not I'm not a body filler guy. That's my last resort, and I don't think I've used body filler in any of my models for 20 or 30 years. So we'll just glue this hood in place and give it a spray when we do our body. And I know I mentioned that I was going to get everything all primed. Even at one stage I thought this blue, I kept looking at it for the body color, and I thought, oh, that's actually quite a nice blue. But we decided we're going to go the teal. I just painted the Camaro, the 70.5 Camaro blue, so I thought, no, we're going to do a different color. We'll go back to that blue one day. Anyway, that's kind of where we are with this, guys, and yeah, just thought I'd give you a quick update, show you a part of my spoon collection and some of the test spoons we've been shooting. I got a couple other dozen sitting over on the bench beside me, but that's probably enough of that. Anyway, as usual, thanks for stopping by. And one more thing. I want to thank Charlie Mack. When I posted my intro video on this, on the new build on the 66 Nova, Charlie Mack warned me about trying to fit the glass in it. So thanks, Charlie, for that note in the comments. And believe it or not, I've actually got a spare set of glass for this car. I must have had this model, 20 or 30 years ago, because I found in my stash a set of glass for this model. So we'll use that as a test fit. And I haven't painted the body because I find that when I'm going through all my test fitting, I manhandle it so much, and chassis and interior in and out and in and out and in and out. That's kind of why I paint my bodies last. It's just so I don't handle them so much. And another thing that I do when I'm building models is other than paint it with the Testors gray or white flat base coat for a primer, and then my color on top, basically you give it one coat, a clear coat, and don't wax it, don't wet sand anything. What I get in the end is what I get, and I leave it alone and don't mess with it. I'm just afraid that I'm going to mess things up, so that's kind of the way things work for me, and you got to find your own process that works for you. And a lot of it's trial and error, and watching other guys on YouTube, and a lot of them out there got really great tips and stuff. Anyway, thanks Charlie Mack for that tip, and I'll watch out for that glass when I go to fit this thing. And as usual, guys, thanks for stopping by, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.